My name is Doug Fearing. I live in Portage, Wisconsin, and along with my wife, we own Fearing's Audio Video Security, which is headquartered in Madison with an office here in Milwaukee. And my God moment actually has become a God thing in our lives, but it takes a little bit of a setup. So my wife and I were both born and raised in Reedsburg, Wisconsin. We are high school sweethearts. We were both raised in the church. She was raised as a Missouri Synod Lutheran, I as a Methodist. When we got married, she joined the Methodist denomination with me. We were no longer Methodists, partly because of that debacle that's going on there. But even though we grew up in the church, Lois and I were not saved until late in life. I'm currently 67. I was not saved until I was 49 years old. And Lois was saved when she was 51. And mine was in 2006, hers was in 2008. And once we did get saved, God really started moving really fast in our lives and turning some things upside down and doing this and doing that. And so much so that I've actually got a manuscript just waiting for God's endorsement to be turned into a book, and Paul's actually endorsed that book. But I'm going to go back to Reedsburg. When I was in my youth, and I don't know when this started, whether it was high school or after high school, but I had this fantasy that I was a rock star. And I was a big fan of REO Speedwagon in those days, and I actually envisioned myself as being in the band REO Speedwagon. And through it, I became rich. And so you see this picture up here, and you see the little blue dot that says Untitled Place Mark. So part of this fantasy was that with my wealth, I built a home right where that little blue dot was. And there's a home there now, but we're talking the 70s here. So that area was totally undeveloped. And that's on a big bluff overlooking, you can't see it from this visual, but that's probably about 200 feet above Reedsburg. And when you're in an open spot, you can look out and you can see the city of Reedsburg and for miles beyond. And in my fantasy, I built this home. And I could see for miles. And you'll see all of that property around it. I owned all of that. And on that, I used my wealth to build this big, huge development of schools and bunkhouses and a horse ranch. And it was in my head, it was my version of a rawhide ranch. And I sponsored it. I wasn't involved in it, but I funded it and built it. But it was just a fantasy. All of this was just a fantasy that I would go and live out when life got tough or when I couldn't sleep at night. It was my version of counting sleep, to go into this place and live out this fantasy. It was never a dream that I ever thought would come true. But then one day, if you want to pull up the next picture, I was winterizing my pontoon. It was the end of the season, and I had to take it to storage, so I took it to this car wash, and that's a picture of the car wash. And I'm in that bay with the taller opening, and it's cold and it's miserable. It's November. We never take our pontoon out until the leaves are off the trees, so we're one of the last pontoons on the lake. And I'm winterizing this, and I'm freezing, and it's miserable, and all of a sudden the Lord speaks into my life through the Spirit, and he says, those schools in your fantasy, they're in Haiti. And I have to tell you that did not make me very happy, because one of the reasons I came to faith so late in life was I'd always had this fear. Even though I was in the church, I'd heard the stories about the disciples dropping everything and following Jesus. And I just always had this vision that the minute I said yes to Jesus, my bags would be packed with tickets to Africa, where I was going to be a missionary. And now all of a sudden he's speaking this to me, and I'm thinking, I had the missionary part right. I just had the country wrong. And I'm thinking, So I was not very happy about this. And I didn't do anything with it right away. I just kind of let it fester. But then in January of 2013, I'm reading the book Radical, Taking Back Your Faith from the American Dream. And I hear the Lord say in the Spirit, loud as could be, get moving. And within 2 weeks, Lois and I had tickets booked to head to Haiti. Now, we had been to Haiti in 2010, right after the earthquake. We got to see all the devastation of Port-au-Prince, but where we'd gone in Haiti to work and do mission work was in St. Mark for Touch Ministries. And then we went back again in 2011 with a bigger mission group from our church. We had 11 people total, and we did a bunch of mission work in St. Mark, Haiti, at Touch Ministries again. And so we had booked our tickets to go back to Touch Ministries, thinking that that's where God was leading us. But after we got back, nothing really happened. Now, in 2012, we did not go back to Haiti because our first grandchild, Dustin, was born, and 2012 was all about Dustin. And we never had a long-term vision for Haiti. This was just 2 simple mission trips. And now all of a sudden the Lord is telling me, those schools in your fantasy, they're in Haiti. So anyway, we followed that through. It never ended up manifesting with Touch Ministries, but they led us to Schools for Haiti. And through that connection, we got involved with Schools for Haiti. And in 2014, we did our first fundraiser on behalf of Schools for Haiti. Now, Schools for Haiti is a 501c3 out of Tampa, Florida. But it actually started as a dream from a young Haitian man called Daniel Michel, who just wanted to start one school. And with the help of Gil Bailey from Tampa, Florida, they started one school in Daniel's church. It had 12 kids and 1 student. And today, Schools for Haiti now sponsors over 1,900 students in 9 schools in Moe and St. Mark, Haiti. If you could pull up maybe some of those pictures. So this is an example. This is a picture of the Grace School. That's our executive director, Matt Perry. We were there on one of the mission trips. You can pull up the next picture. This is me on our 2020 mission trip. And so I'm now on the board of directors of Schools for Haiti. And we're making a significant impact there. But if we pull up the next picture, this young girl is a young girl that I met in a slum when we were on our 2020 mission trip. She sits as a picture on my desk because she's not one of our students going to one of our schools. She lives in complete abstract poverty in a slum where we were doing a food distribution. You can see the little girl behind her, the dress that she's wearing. I mean, that's their daily living. When you look at the kids in our schools, when they go home at night, it's a similar situation, but for those 6 hours during the day, those kids get fed, they get clothed, and they get educated. And even though Haiti is in total turmoil right now, it's virtually a disaster going on in Haiti right now, our schools are still functioning and providing some hope for the students that we support. So you can go to the next couple of pictures. These are just some pictures of our schools, one of the 9. You can kind of scroll through. And these are all Schools for Haiti schools. This is our 2019 trip. That's former Badger star Brandon Williams, who was our speaker at our 2019 gala. This is another school, the Sharp School. And this is one of our newer, larger schools in St. Mark. And this is the Wisconsin school. So the Wisconsin school, because of the gala fundraising that we do in Madison every year, which our gala is coming up on April 29th, which is I'm kind of doing a shameless plug for that right now. But this is the one school that we have totally built from scratch. Most of our schools have been schools we've taken over where other organizations abandoned them. And so this school is functioning and doing very well right now in Haiti. But that does beg the question, if you can pull up the next one, what about the rest of my fantasy? If one part of it's true, what about the rest of it? Well, in 2013, this is our picture from our deck, but prior to 2013, there was a whole bunch of trees blocking that view. And in the fall of 2013, we took a whole bunch of those trees out. And I realized I'm already living on the home on the hill. I just could never see it. I could never visualize it or understand it. And I'm like, wow, God was doing this. And here's what's really, I don't even know what the third part, I don't know what the rock star looks like yet. I know I've got a book that's going to be published at some point in time when God gives its mark. And he showed me some things in the future. It's not going to be a rock star, but it's going to be something else. But one of the things that changed is, from my whole fantasy, is I was doing it in my strength, building those schools from my fantasy. And here, the schools are already there. I'm just coming alongside. It was in God's strength that these schools were being made and developed. It wasn't Doug Fearing doing it. It was God doing it. And all I was doing was coming alongside. So it wasn't my wealth that was building anything. It was just, you mentioned obedience. It was just my obedience and following what God was leading me to. And obedience is key to wisdom. And so with that, that's my God moment. We are still supporting Schools for Haiti. I am on the board of directors. I'd like to say we're thriving. We could be thriving if Haiti was thriving, but we literally pray every day that one of the leaders that will change Haiti is coming out of our schools, because they are Christian schools, and we teach them about Jesus. And every Friday morning, we do chapel services. And so we're making a difference, and we are having a gala on April 29th, my shameless plug. If any of you would like to do it, you just go to our website, fearings.com, and at the top there's an RSVP to the gala, and also you can donate through that link also. And that's my God moment, which is now a God thing. Thank you.